Hi, I'm Monique Madrid, and I am with L.O.L. Jack's Film Festival. And on our Artist Corner today, I want to have a chance to talk to someone that I love and know. Her name is Tiffany Wright, aka MsDevotedTiff, and we go way back. We're like college homies. We have
And
been
roomies.
girl and roomies. We have known each other for quite a long time. We ain't gonna say how many years,
Mm-mm.
but we've known each other for quite a bit. And I am here to celebrate and talk about you today. So, let's talk about it. So tell us a bit about you.
Well, first, I just want to thank you for being here. And when I had the idea to do like a birthday interview series, and I have a lot of friends that they're in different capacities do interviewing, like you in the Artist Corner and the other hosts. And so I thought it was the perfect person because not only do you know me personally, and not only do you have interviewing as part of your platform, but it would be a lot more comforting to me to have a friend that I've known for, we're not gonna say how many
We
years,
ain't gonna say how many.
um, kind of guide me through saying what I want to say about what I learned when I was 37 and making lemonade out of lemons when I was 37. And so you were the perfect person I thought of. So thank you again. I'm excited and looking forward to digging in a little deep and sharing what I believe truly will gives people some inspiration or something they can relate to, and just share a little bit of me more than the creative side of myself, but like the personal, deeper side of myself.
Right, right, right. So one, I love the concept of lemons and
Thank
lemonade. So
you.
I'm excited to kind of get into it with you on it.
Yeah.
So with lemons, life is very bumpy and it's kind of caused you a lot of delays and setbacks. So that's what the lemons represent. And with the lemonade, you were able to find a way to survive and even thrive pretty quickly, I want to say, in Savannah. So let's talk about, how the lemons affected your life progress.
Whoa, those lemons. I would say I've never expected life to be perfect per se, but I never expected my life to be such a long term roller coaster because, especially, I'm a person that's known for kind of being organized, detailed, master plan, game plan, 5 year plan, 10 year plan, going where God leads me. And the different setbacks, I think, were always a little bit frustrating because I felt like, okay, well, I'm being obedient to God, I'm sticking to the plan. It's not like self sabotage or lack of discipline, but it's really things that were happening to me because a lot of times things that happen to you are things that you cause. And it's like, okay, well, you made this bed. And I'm sure I didn't make perfect decisions the whole time, but a lot of things were just external factors. And it would be frustrating, it would be disheartening, it would be, okay, go pick on somebody else this time, God. Like I just was starting to hit a stride. So it was just this pattern of kind of making progress, making up for lost time for the last trial to bam, somebody in my immediate family passes away, or car repair out of nowhere and I have to like get another car. My company up and announces that my job is being outsourced, or they're having budget cuts and my position is being downsized. And so it was always a matter of scrambling. I felt like a lot of my life was scrambling to figure things out and not always having a lot of time to do what I wanted because I was in survival mode. Like, who has time to sit down and make a business plan, or save to make an investment into yourself, or um, take your time and sit back and pick the job that is best for your skill set and that we would make the most money? It's like, okay, well, I was just barely caught up from the last trial or the last time my job got outsourced. And so, who cares where I work? I just need a job because I was already somewhat behind. And so, I didn't really get to live outside of just making it from day to day. And so a lot of my ideas and creativity were stifled because stuff had to be on the shelf for so long. And you always tell yourself, well, eventually a day will come where you're out of survival mode and you're able to like pay attention to more than the basic necessities of life.
True, true.
And when I would feel that moment coming, bam, something happened again. And so I would say I never truly gave up that I would get to a space where I could finally try to execute some of these things that have been in my heart to execute. But I would say one of the major effects, back to the original question, was I think I was always looking over my shoulder. And I was always thinking, well, it's going to be a long time. I know it's going to happen, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. So it brought a little bit of pessimism, and it also brought a little bit of yeah, frustration.
You know, before I kind of dive into my next question, I just want to say, like, when I met you, you had obstacles even when I met you
Mm-hmm.
coming to college. And yet, the one cool thing that I thought about is that you were always so smiley and so happy despite what was going on around you. And I think that's a testament to this concept that you have of lemons and lemonade. You always, I don't care how many lemons were in your hand, you would smile as if it was already the lemonade. So that's cool to still see that that's a part of your journey. I'm sorry anybody got to deal with lemons, but I love, and it's a testament to you on just having that smile, just saying that I will get through it and never giving up. So that's something that I think is a quality that not many people have. So, it's very beautiful when you see it because you will be a light to somebody for
Thank
sure.
you.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
That means a lot. That actually got me in trouble a lot of times because people would have this perception of me that I was like phony or fake. Like, why she always smile? Life can't be that great. But it was just like I feel like I didn't have a choice because if I wallowed in it, like I probably would have been like suicidal. And there was like one period in my life that I was, but like if I kind of allowed myself to sink into it, like that just wouldn't be good for me. So I was like, okay, focus on the solution. And then once I felt like I had a solution, then I felt good. Like, okay, I have a plan of attack. And
Yeah.
that's where the smile came from because it's like, oh, well, there is some way to figure this out. There's some way to sort this out. And so then I was able to like, okay, once I have a plan written down, oh, okay, relief. Okay, now I can move forward. And so that was usually how I was able to smile. And God, of course, a lot of scriptures in my faith talk about counting it all joy and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
was able to apply those, and then it just kind of helped get through it.
Yeah, eliminate pessimistic out your vocabulary. You're just a realist because I relate to that with the whole worst case scenario. Let me get that in, and then I can move on.
Yes.
So let me ask you my next question. So, you know, we talked about these lemons that you've had along your journey, but like what type of obstacles or lemons did you face when you were in Savannah? Like, you know, was it harder to navigate, or did you find that, the past lemons that you had was very vital to your survival and how you made it in Savannah?
No, great question. So it was interesting because when I first got here, I was just in awe that nothing catastrophic happens that prevented me to even make the move because it was a very interesting time because again there was a pending downsizing at where I was working. They moved our job to India, and so we kind of had like a we don't know when you're going to lose your job, but it'll be no later than this date. And then this day would come and it's like, oh well, they're not ready to take over your position. They're not doing well with training or whatever. So it's going to be this day. So it was kind of like that was teetering. Like, when should I move? Should I wait so I can get this severance package, or should I just go? Um, so all at once, I was moving to a whole new state. I was moving to enter into school and trying to find a job in the new city. And so once I got past all of that, and I
Because you
was able
up.
to get get accepted into school, get into school, have financial aid for school, found an apartment, got
Yeah.
approval for my apartment, and found a job.
Mhm.
I was kind of on the clock. I'm like, oh wait, nothing fell through. Like nothing stops. Something didn't happen that I can't even move now, or I don't have the means to move now. So once I got up here, I was like, oh my gosh, like I think it's gonna be okay. But then quickly life happened moving up here. I would say it was two big things because compared to my life before, my life has been pretty smooth and amazing up here in Savannah.
Yeah.
But when I moved here to be a pharmacy tech. That was a certification I had in Florida. And so I got my Georgia board certification. And I worked at Walgreens. You might remember when I was in college the first time. And so I went back, was like, oh, yeah, full circle back at Walgreens. Um, Walgreens was supposed to have me full time, and they kept putting me on the schedule. Um, they're supposed to have me part time. They kept putting me on the schedule full time and putting me like at the hours that nobody else wanted to work. And one of the pharmacists was, he didn't play well with others, and they were even warning me during the interview. But like once I was actually there with him, like he didn't speak to me respectfully, and training was a pain because of that, because I'm asking you questions, but oh, you're always busy, but I'm standing here with a person and I don't know what to do to help them because I've only been here 2 or 3 weeks. And so it just became kind of like a toxic situation. And the older I got, I became more adamant about protecting my peace,
Mm.
whether it's a person, a job, or whatever. So I'll quit a job if I feel like the job is stressing me out. I will quit, and that's exactly what I did. And
Even
so
with no backup plan? Like, girl.
I had a backup plan
Okay,
as
good.
far as there was a work at home job that I was already onboarding for, but it was not making as much.
No, but you had
Um,
a plan. I know what you mean. If you gotta like, yeah, but no, go ahead, keep on. But I was like,
no, no, that was
man,
a good question.
you
If you had
brave
for
girl, but I'm glad you had a backup
somebody,
plan. Yeah.
no, I mean I don't have no financial support, so I can't just quit without nothing. Like it's not like I have like a rich great grandmother or something that was like, hey, can you float me while I get set up? Like it's all on me, so I have to have a plan.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but then the other thing was I was also teaching with VIP Kids, and so I was like, because I've always had more than one revenue stream, so
right, right.
so it was the main thing was the pharmacy, and then I was also teaching at home through VIP Kids. That was kind of another um, bump in the road because when I started, they was like, oh, there's such a high demand, such a high need. And I would put myself on the schedule, and then I wouldn't get any invitations or bookings from a parent to tutor their child. And so, like, I'm hitting up VIP Kids, like, okay, I don't put my schedule on all these times, and y'all said it's such a demand. I'm not really making a lot of money doing this because I'm not really getting hit up like that. And they were like, oh, it takes a little bit of time. And there's like different ways you can market yourself to look like a fun teacher. And then parents will want to work with you. And so it was like, okay, well, this is kind of falling through and this is kind of falling through. Thank God I had, financial aid to create a buffer and, friends that were blessing me. But my big bump in the road moving here was the jobs I thought were gonna work out didn't. And
Right.
so there was a couple of months when I first moved that it was just really like, oh gosh, here we go again, because I can't work this job because they keep scheduling me during class time. And this backup job, I'm not getting scheduled at all. So it was like too many hours over here, not enough hours over here. So, but fortunately, I had found gig work, and I actually, it is still up on my wall. I had an affirmation that I wrote, and I said, I will have a flexible schedule, good paying job, and benefits so that I can work on my creativity, attend school, and make money to pay my bills. And I found Grubhub and Ships.
Yeah.
And I've made more than I made in corporate America. Um, and I make my own schedule. And so I think if I had went through what I had went through in my past about things going left with jobs, I wouldn't have been able to kind of figure out how to navigate the jobs I moved here to work not working out.
Right.
And it would have been really difficult because I'm not home. I don't know anyone here. A couple of people that I do know are friends of friends or family of friends back in Jacksonville, but not people that like I can be like, hey, I need to stay with you, or hey, can I borrow some money? Like I don't know nobody like that up here. So it
Yeah.
literally would it could have went really bad if I didn't have those survival skills, if I didn't have those coping skills to kind of be resilient. Like, hey, the rent is due. How you gonna figure this out? You know? And there's random jobs, and I actually through one of my brands, Wright Creative Factory, that people that like are self-employed independent contractor, there's like stuff you can do um like when money is tight, like for instance mystery shopping. So like if
Yeah.
I was ever low, I could just pick up a couple mystery shopping appointments and make $200-300 doing that. And it's just stuff that I know because of what I had went through in the past, and I would have never known about those things that you can kind of tap into sporadically if I wouldn't have went through what I went through. So it's like you kind of build your Rolodex of resources. And if
Yeah.
I never had any unexpected job losses, I would not have no resources like that. I wouldn't have any resources like that. So, and then the second bump in the road was recently here,
Mhm.
um, like 2,000 miles after my extended warranty went out, my transmission went out.
Oof.
And they didn't honor it. And because I was like, there got to be something that you guys can do. Like, I'm a student, I'm up here trying to make it happen. This happened right after my warranty. Like, come on. And
Convenient, right?
right. And so
Yeah.
they like paid for a rental car for me, thankfully, but I was on my own figuring that out. And my dad helped me, and we bought a transmission. We went to a car auction and got one, tried to get one there. That one didn't work. We had to send it back. We had to take the car to the dealership. They's like, well, this car is actually like a throwaway car. We don't suggest you continue to invest in it. I'm like, well, I wish I would have known that when I bought it only 2.5 years ago, and it was only 2 years old when I bought it. And so,
What?
like,
Just
now I'm making money doing this gig work, and
right.
now the thing that I need to do this work, a car, is out. Like, what? Like,
That's
I just found my groove. I'm doing well. I am thriving. I am having more time and energy to be creative. I'm doing good in school. Bills
sure.
are being paid and money left over. And now the thing that has driving all that is my car. And so again, that resilience had to bounce because imagine living somewhere where your family and friends are not at, and now your car is broke down.
Right, right, right.
Like, what do you do? And so again, I was able to figure it out because of I've had before where a transmission went out on me. And so those things really, because I feel like honestly, if those things didn't happen, in the past to help me deal with what happened when I was here, I probably would have had to pack it up and move back home and like
Mm,
stay with one of my parents or something. Like I wouldn't, because it was within my first year. And let's not forget to mention this is all during a pandemic.
correct. Time out. We didn't even go there. You're like, listen, let me get through all these things, and then we'll mention the pandemic. That's crazy, Tiff. That's
Within
crazy.
my first year of living here, going into, well, between my first year and a half, I would say, because it was like 6 months in. Well, the
Sure.
first one was like 3 months in, and then the car one was like, I don't know, like a year and a couple months in. So yes,
Yeah.
that was
You still
how.
had me back at the car was only little over 2 years old. That's crazy. That's crazy. On
It
top of
shouldn't have been having transmission issues yet, but then when we looked online, we saw that there was a recall. We asked the dealership about it. They were like, there is no recall. Like, that's not true what you saw online. So we're like, well, who do we believe? Should we like pursue this class action lawsuit? Like, what do I do? Because the rest of the car is fine. It's just this transmission. So
You know what? I'm proud of you though, because a lot of times, people, we're always like, I want a mentor, I need a mentor. And here you are just, being an advocate and like you said, a resource for yourself. I'm sure you have mentors along the way, but in Savannah, like you said, you were kind of out here in the deep by yourself and you kind of had to teach yourself how to swim and survive and be your own resource pool. So
yeah.
kudos to you on that. And so that kind of brings me to my next question.
Mhm.
So how did the surviving Savannah during a pandemic and all the other ish But like, how did surviving, Savannah turn into thriving? I mean, like, was it just, a certain point that came out of nowhere that changed everything, or is it something that you did? Like, kind of go into that for a little minute.
It became thriving once I got over the big hurdle of figuring things out. And it was like I went back to what I originally prayed to God, and I said, if you just give me a season where it's not a bunch of chaos and give me free and clear space to actually do what I feel like you called me to do, which is to be a professional creative, which is to, create choreography and to create content, whether it's short films or it's parody or music videos or just me writing things and then turning what I wrote into something. That's
Sure.
what I love to do. Is that if you give me that free space, I will do it. And so it became thriving, I would say, just me taking that step, taking that step and saying, okay, there are a couple of things going bad, but it's not enough to not do these things. I have been in situations where it's a whole bunch that is going left. So if
Sure.
it's just one or two things going left, that's no excuse to not have um, the energy to start executing. And so, literally, just okay, well, the car is not working, but guess what? I'm home right now. I can start writing something. I can start recording something. I can start self taping. I can reach out to classmates because I am a BFA major and I am surrounded by other artists and see if they can help me execute this idea and just continuing to get positive feedback and put myself out there, whether it's sharing on my social media or submitting
Sure.
to a film festival or, even being daring enough to tag celebrities and see what they say. And like, I did like a little concept, like a recap of what I thought of Black is King. And I tagged Beyonce's stylist that for that film. And she shared me to her Insta story. It's like, well, who would imagine that, Beyonce stylist with of all the tags and all the stuff that she gets, that she would see my tag, comment on my page, and then share it to her page. So those kind of things, just people in the industry just giving positive feedback, it pushed me to want to do more. Because like, you know what? Maybe not all of my friends or family see the vision, but just people that I don't even know but are working in the industry saying you are onto something or what you were doing is good. That made me want to intentionally try to thrive. And I definitely did. Like, I would also say on a deeper note, I feel like I was able to thrive because Savannah is actually home. And I didn't think about it at first. I felt like spiritually it was a return home
Mm,
because my ancestors on my mother's side and my father's side are from plantations in Southeast Georgia. And
wow.
so I would wonder why I would always come here and I would feel like just something in the air, like this feels right to me. This feels like home to me. And and we have historians in our family. And so I always knew where we were from, but I knew it by name. I had never been there, like Blackshear, Georgia. I don't know where that is, but it's Southeast Georgia. And so just coming to Savannah and then learning Savannah history and like basically most slaves in this area,
Hmm.
most enslaved that came to this area, they came through the port of Savannah. And
Mm,
so knowing that my ancestors literally came through that port and ended up in plantations around this area, and now I'm coming here to live, I do feel like they were in a sense like guardian angels. Like, you might not be around your living family, but you're around your family that maybe died on these grounds and died in this area. And I know like a lot of people might think that is strange, but it is
no.
such a feeling that I cannot deny when I was here. It's like I don't feel like I'm alone here in that sense. I just feel their spirit around me. And I really do feel like they've been looking out for me while I'm here. And that's a lot of the reason why I've been able to thrive. So
Let me
Savannah's
listen.
really special to me.
Listen, first of all, never feel like that's beautiful that you had that connection to this state. I do believe that that is a true thing, like just your body telling you
Mm-hmm.
your history. So I'm glad you said that because that kind of That did give me a little chill. So I'm
Yes,
grateful to hear that.
goosey bump for sure.
Right? For sure. Let me ask you before I go to my next question, because you said it. If your ancestors that you say you're surrounded by in the state you're in,
Mhm.
if they could say something to you, what would they say? Like, how would they feel about you? Do you feel like they would be 100% proud, or there's more to go? Like, what would they say to you?
I feel like they would say that they were proud and that they, oh, and I don't want to get emotional. I'm not gonna cry on the first Zoom. I just think about a lot of the things that those generations went through. And a lot of times they get slack for, well, that couldn't have been me. But I think it was a choice that they made on purpose, because if it was certain ways that they chose to rebel, they were asking to be killed. They were asking to die. And I think they put up with a lot so they could live long enough to have another generation to carry out what they couldn't carry out. Because they could have just chose to go crazy and let everything die with them. But they made an intentional choice to chill and wait for legal things to happen and stuff like that. And so I feel like me going for things that they never could have had a chance to go for is a way of them being so happy for me, because that's why they did it. They didn't take risks so that I could take risks. So me doing what I'm doing with my life and going for things, my wildest dreams, I feel like they are really proud, because that's the whole reason that they put up with what they put up with, because they didn't have to. And I don't think people really get that. Like, they were very smart and very capable and very strong, and they could have done things to say, you're not going to disrespect me, but they put up with it so that I didn't have to put up with it.
Right, right,
It
right.
wasn't because they were weak or afraid. It was an intentional choice so that their children, their children's children, their children's children could have a chance for a better life.
Yeah.
And so I respect them so much for having that type of restraint. And I feel like how I show my gratitude is to go for those dreams, because that's why they put up with what they put up with.
Yeah.
So I think that they would be very
Good. I just wanted you to tell that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. You still look beautiful, by the way. You
proud.
still
Oh,
look
thank
beautiful.
you.
But I wanted you to tell that because it's so important for whoever's listening to this. You might touch somebody because honestly, our Black history, we're living it, but we also don't need to forget it, like you were saying,
No.
because they
Yeah.
did what they did for a purpose. So I
Mhm.
wanted people to hear from your perspective, how grateful you are, because I think sometimes no matter what our background is, we kind of sometimes forget
Yeah.
that people pave some ways for us to be able to
Mhm.
live the way we live. So I appreciate you,
Thank
speaking
you.
to that 100%, which kind of brings me to the next question, by the way. So we're in this thriving state, so that's what we'll
Mhm.
call it. So we're in the thriving period of the interview, but with the life you've had, you know what I mean? What would the perfect glass of Savannah lemonade look like for you? Because you're in Georgia, we got to say.
Yes, I am claiming myself to be a peach for sure. I am fully owning the Georgia peachness. This is where I live. I am a registered voter here. I am a resident, so I am peaching it. um,
Yes.
the
Thank
perfect.
you for voting, by the way.
Oh yes, I sure did. And the runoff with Warnock and Ossoff too. I voted on all of them. Helped Georgia turn blue. um, which I was very impressed by the way, because you think Savannah is like a southern, maybe like a old world southern town, but Savannah turned blue. It wasn't just Georgia, because some states in Georgia did, some cities, excuse me, in Georgia turned red, but Savannah did not. And surprisingly enough, Charleston turned blue as well. And I
Right.
was like, oh, I'm in the right. I was like, I like coastal Georgia. I like coastal Georgia. The low country is all right with me. The low country turned blue. So, yes, I just had to say that. But okay, so my perfect Savannah lemonade glass would be me fully making income off of my ideas in a beautiful town home, and I'm running my dance theater company, and I am writing and selling screenplays, and I have turned my food business into a food truck and using that as a revenue stream to invest into my dance company and my writing career, and being able to creatively consult businesses with my creativity through my brand, the Wright Creative Factory, and basically just living off of my creativity and good ideas. Because I do know this is not a suicide mission for me. I did have a reason to think I could do well in this career. I do have really good ideas, and that is something I would encourage all dreamers to start with, a foundation of knowing that this isn't just like a stab in the dark. You have to believe in your ideas enough to know that they are actually good ideas. Like, you're not like somebody going on American Idol that doesn't know how to sing. You're taking this step in your dream because you know you actually have what it takes. And so I feel like my ideas are good enough to get paid for. And so it's just a matter of being able to market those brands more properly, and just the patience to let them grow until that moment that everybody waits for, where momentum just takes off.
Yeah.
And you don't know when, or you don't know how somebody comes across something, or you meet the right person. But you've already done your part, so you're ready for that moment. I always say, like, a person I feel like is very aspirational in that sense is like a Tiana Taylor. You know, she's been out there, she's been talented, but she was always working. She was working on her ability to dance. She was working on her ability to sing from since she was like 13. And so when the moment did come, she didn't have to like hurry up and like scramble to be ready. She was already ready.
Right.
And so I feel like the stuff that I'm slowly doing now, whenever that moment comes, I will be ready. But that would be lemonade for me.
Okay.
Fully living off of my good ideas in a beautiful town home in Savannah.
Hey, hey. And it's a beautiful city, by the way. You picked a
It's
really, really good city
gorgeous.
to live in. Yeah, it's
It's
gorgeous.
so beautiful.
Side
And
note,
I've been
Rand.
taking a lot of pictures in it this past couple of weeks. I can't wait to post them. And it's just all these beautiful backdrops. Like, it's the best place you could be as a photographer, because it's just like a wealth of beautiful backgrounds to take pictures in. So
Side note, random. What's your favorite local like shop there? Whether it's food, clothes, whatever. What's your favorite local like place to go?
that's
Like
a
you
good
gotta
question.
stop and go there when you go there.
Um, Well, so I'll do food and non-food. I would say for food, oh gosh, now
You're
that's
supposed
tough.
to say
So I'll just
you.
stick to
Gotta
brunch.
say you.
I'll just stick to brunch, because if I can break it down to lunch spot, breakfast spot, dinner spot, I would say for brunch, I have to go to J. Christopher's and get a bacon waffle.
Okay.
And for non-food, I love going into Nourish, because it's very like interactive with, the custom soaps and lip scrubs, and like, I guess the flower child in me loves being able to like be around all those natural scents and stuff. So I
Hmm.
love Nourish.
Nice, nice. So my last question to you is so for those out there who are experiencing or have their own version of obstacles that are lemons, um, and they don't know how to turn lemons into lemonades, or maybe they don't know how to squeeze that lemon. What would be what would you say to them? What would be your advice to them?
um, my advice would be to find the why when you do have the lemon. Sometimes people get stuck in not knowing or understanding why this happened to them, and just kind of asking God and waiting for that moment. It might not come when you expect it to come, but there will always be this moment that it clicks and like, oh, that's why I went through that. Okay,
Sure.
it's all making sense now. It's all coming together now. Got it, got it. Boom, boom, boom. And start clicking, to start firing, and it makes sense. And so I think the first thing is to realize or remind yourself or say to yourself, There is a reason why this is happening. Because
True.
God wouldn't just put me through this just for fun. There is a reason why. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to try to find peace in the fact that knowing this isn't just like some random horribleness that's happening. And just give me strength to hang on until you show me why I needed to go through this and show me what um, knowledge I needed from this to apply later. And that can be with anything. Like, my stepfather passed away. He had been in my life since I was 3 years old. And my other male figure and my other like mother and father figure after my parents, like my second mom and my second dad, as far as my uncle goes, they all passed away. And like, even like trying to find purpose in why somebody may have passed away, saying like, okay, there's a reason that you took this person from me, and I don't understand what it is now. Is it so I can be there for somebody else when someone in their life passes away? Is it so I could get closer to you? Is it because they were in so much pain and we see death as a bad thing, but death is actually the ultimate healing as far as there is no more pain. So is it maybe that it just wasn't about me and they really just wanted to be with you. They just wanted to be out of here and it was their time. And so finding solace in the fact that they're good. I'm bad because I missed them. So I'm not doing okay, but they're fine. They are doing just fine. And I'm the one that's a mess.
Right.
So a lot of times it's just people get stuck at not being able to make lemonade because they don't understand why. So I think pressing past figuring out the why or knowing that there is a why helps a lot. And I think the second thing is just realizing that it doesn't rain forever. Like literally scientifically, it does not rain forever. Eventually, there's precipitation is out of the air and the water cycle. Don't make me go back to my biology degree.
I was gonna say that's your degree talking right there. I'm gonna let you talk, but I was literally thinking it.
Literally scientifically, it cannot rain forever. And I feel like a lot of the things like that we apply from like our faith and whatever our faith is, because I'm not going to assume everybody watching this is Christians, but whatever your belief system is, all belief systems speak to a level of balance. Yeah. So nobody's not going to be all bad, nobody's going to be all good. And so I think it's easier to make lemonade when you know, okay, well, this is just my time in this season, but I know that that time is coming. You got to wait for that time, but that it's on the way and not like a if, but a when. You have to remind yourself that it when, like eventually it's going to be bomb. Eventually it's going to be so amazing. And I'm just going to wait my turn, but I know it's coming. And a lot of times people are like, is it ever going to get better? Is it ever going to get better? But once you turn that around to, I know it will, it's just a matter of when, it's kind of easier to make lemonade out of it. And those two things have definitely helped me.
So you mean to tell me you got your degree for you to come up with that philosophical answer?
That's why I had the biology degree. Oh yeah.
She was like, it's totally
worth it. Why for that too? I feel like I got that degree to make me a more methodical and organized creative. I feel there's a lot of creatives that they're really good with the creativity side, but they're awful with the business side or the organization side or the communication side. And you need all of that to be a arts entrepreneur. And so it made me a lot more structured and have good attention to detail, which you need, you're going to be like a writer or a choreographer. So it has definitely helped me in that sense. Not to mention the jobs that I did have that care about that. It didn't matter what degree you had. That if you had a degree, you made like $4 more an hour or something like that. So yeah, everything has a why. There's always something going on behind what is happening in front of your face. There's always more to it. So you just got to dig a little deeper and figure it out.
So, MsDevotedTiff.
Yeah,
Tiffany Wright, my homie. So tell us, how we can find you, what all that you do. I know you've kind of went over a lot of the things that you do, but just kind of, give us a recap of this boss lady entrepreneur that you are, so that way we can all follow you and be invested in your journey.
Okay, so I am a creative. My creative arms are writing and choreographing, and I'm an entrepreneur. Okay. And my entrepreneur arms are Wright Creative Factory, and I help businesses and individuals put creativity into their non-creative ventures. And food. I love to cook, and I wanted a revenue stream that was not in the creative side, but was also something that I love. And I don't make things. I don't make jewelry. I don't do anything like that. And I don't do like corporate things, but I do cook. And so I do have a food pop up, American Soul Kitchen, and I go to campuses and to small businesses, pre order only. And those are my legs, creative and entrepreneur.
Nice.
And that's what I love.
You about to be an
Creating
octopus
things.
after a while, by the way. You about to be an octopus. You about to have more legs and arms. You about to be an octopus after a while.
Right. I didn't mention the performing arts side because I only do that to showcase my behind the scenes creativity. Like people see me dancing in videos, but I don't consider myself a dancer. I only dance to showcase my choreography.
Sure.
As soon as I have a dance company official and I have dancers in a company, I'm not gonna be dancing because I can let them showcase choreography. And I only do the acting in my little skits and videos to showcase my writing. But eventually I'm gonna stop doing that too. But when you're starting out, you kind of have to be the face of your own stuff.
Sure.
But that's why I don't bring up the performing arts side a lot. But like I do have that arm, but that arm we keep it shriveled inside. We don't. I don't use that one unless I have to.
Got it. Got it. Well, Tiffany, it was a pleasure. It was truly an honor. Thank you for letting me be your first in
Yeah.
the series. I'm super excited for you, and I'm happy for you. And this whole month is about you. So happy
Oh
birthday
yes.
all month long.
Speaking of that, thank you for doing this again. But the biggest shout out is May 20th, my birthday, and the day I'm releasing my large visual. I haven't released the name yet, but definitely if you were touched by anything you've seen and want to support me in MsDevotedTiff, which is my artistic brand, my creative brand, definitely check that out. Plan to watch it, like it, comment, share. It has a great message. It's very well done. I think it's beautiful. And please tune in May 20th, 4 p.m. on either my YouTube or Instagram and check out my next visual coming.
I feel like one of the cool kids because I know what it's about. I'm
Yes. And
excited.
speaking of octopus, this lady always steps in and uses her filmmaking experience with her husband's company, Argo Forest Films, and she took that skill set and was a bomb production assistant for me. And she always just is on point, on point, on point. So truly, the project would have been a lot more chaotic on set if she was not there to execute things. So thank you for doing that for us.
Thank you. It was an honor to be a part of it. But yeah, I'm super excited for you. And thank you for the shout out. Yes, Argyle Forest Films. My husband will be
Yes.
like so geeking out right now. So yeah. But yeah, I'm super excited for you. And one more time, when is this visual dropping out? Because you said it, but I need them to receive it. And like while they're looking at this, like I need you to put it in your phone. I need you to make a calendar date. When is it again? I need you to repeat it again. Repeat it one more.
Thursday, May 20th, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard
Don't say y'all didn't know. She done said it like 2 times. Don't say you didn't know. I'm excited for you. It's about you all month long. I'm honored to be a part of it. Is there anything left you want to say? Because I'm going to let the last word be yours.
I will just say if you enjoyed this one, make sure you tune into the next one on the 10th. And that one's going to be a little more controversial. And that will be with one of my dance colleagues, Lexi. And we are going to be talking about the lemon of contaminated Christianity and how I navigated that and made lemonade out of it to have clarity as far as what Christianity looks like for me. And so that will be really good. So tune into that one if you enjoyed this one. Or even if you didn't enjoy this one, tune into that one. And that's it.